Yeah. Well, let's see. Hello, everybody. If the thing is started, let's actually see if this is doing it. Are we live? I can't tell. I don't know. I did. Everything's fine. We're good. This is how all streams go. Hey, there we go. Okay, we are in. I don't have any of the viewership data for some reason. Oh, okay, cool. It's stuck.
Oh, yay, people are here. Okay,
hi, guys.
awesome.
All right, cool. We are going to do a little bit of a historical tour through Venice, which is exciting and stuff, but permit me 2 seconds of hanging out here as I tweet this link. Tweet. Cool. But you guys are cool because you got here first.
Notification squad.
Notification squad, that's what we're all about. Okay, so here's what's going on. I am here with Cyan.
Hello.
Commenter and baker extraordinaire.
Commenter?
It's like you're usually on the stream chat, but now she's at, sorry. You know, bad word choice, bad word choice.
Oh, I see, I'm just a commenter to you now?
You've been demoted, you've been demoted.
Ouch. Ouch.
I'm sorry it had to start like this. Everyone loves you. I'm sorry that I've done you dirty, Cyan.
Nobody just likes you, Cyan.
They just can't help but be afraid of you. Perhaps we should order a pizza, which would be apt with my Ultron references. No, that's Captain America Civil War. I'm a mess right now. We're playing Assassin's Creed 2. We're gonna do a little bit of a tour of Venice here.
More accurately, Blue is going to give you history facts about Venice, and you're gonna watch me fall off of buildings.
Yes.
It's not that I'm bad at video games. I'm just a Nintendo kid. I beat Breath of the Wild.
We killed Ganon. We whipped the crap out of that guy.
However,
but
I am not a PlayStation person. I have no idea what the controls are because we've only played this together twice, and I fall off of a lot of buildings because I can't jump. So, bear with me.
And this game is about 10 years of jank old, so... Sulfuric Glue with 2 pounds says, AC2 will always be the best one for me. You are not wrong, my friend. We're not going to be taking a ton of questions this time. Like, obviously leave comments and questions and we'll try to get to it, but I've got a little presentation here that I want to walk you all through as we talk about the history of this beautiful city of Venice. Yeah, we're going to try to keep it nice and chill, just enjoy ourselves, fall off some buildings, have a good time. So, Cyan, if you look to your right, yep.
Oh, is that the Rialto?
Yes, that is the Rialto.
It's not done.
That is, you're correct. It's not done because this game is set in the late 1400s, like 1480s, and at that point, Rialto Bridge had not been built yet. So you can actually wander your way over towards it. Just run. You have a lot of health. You'll be fine. You have to hold the left trigger and then X, and then just jump off. Yep, like that in the well. Yeah, you're fine. You're still alive, aren't you?
I killed more than half of them.
That's why we have the armor of Altair. That's specifically why before we started streaming, we ran to Monteriggioni and I equipped the armor. Cyan's like, why are we equipping the armor? I'm like, oh, it's a surprise tool that'll help us later. So.
I told you I'd fall off buildings. I told you guys, you will have to bear with me.
So someone says, let's see, Zarkanite with 2 pounds says, can you explain why Venice is sinking? Why, yes, I can, and that'll actually have to do with what we talk about in a second. That's okay, we're doing great.
Stealth roll.
So Venice, as you can see, is a city that was built entirely on water, basically. The original islands of the Venetian lagoon are actually...
Wait, which bridge is this?
This is Rialto.
Wait.
Yeah.
Dang, it's just wood now.
It's just wood. So the original Rialto bridge, and I'll get back to the question of why Venice is sinking in a second. The original Rialto bridge
that guy. Should I kill him?
was a yeah. See if you can kill him. The original Rialto bridge was a pontoon bridge built in the late 1100s, and it was the first time that this canal had been crossed. But at that point, the islands of Venice hadn't really been super built up yet. It wasn't quite as dense of a landmass as it was. He fell. He fully fell down. Yeah, no, you can't get his money because he's dead now. But as Venice built itself up by sticking big wooden spikes, piles into the ground, and compacting them down, the salt water, you can press the circle. The salt water around the wooden piles that were shoved into the ground solidified and basically petrified them and turned them into stone, which turned into a foundation to build more islands on. So they're basically, making islands out of thin air. But this bridge was one of the first major bridges in Venice, whereas a lot of it was just like independent islands, not really connected. This wood bridge that you see here was built in 1255. It was made of wood, and as you can see in the middle, there's another guy if you can kill him, go for it.
Where'd he go?
No, he's gone. It's
over
fine.
there.
No, he runs faster than you do. Okay. But in the middle of the current Rialto bridge, there's a wooden drawbridge that you can see. Okay.
Did I kill
Now
it?
hold circle and you can steal his money. Awesome. Okay, now go back to the bridge.
This way?
Yeah. And then hang a right. Dark Shadow the Halo says, "Hi, I'm a history student in the Netherlands. Last week we had a college class about Florence, so I showed your tour of it on top of 100 peeps, and my professor that had studied Italian history for 45 years. Awesome. I hope I didn't embarrass you."
Do you see me stealthing on this table full of fish?
Yes, it's called hiding in plain sight. But thank you. I'm glad you got a kick out of my Florence tour. I hope the Florence history video is a little more helpful. Okay. So this little middle part here between the big wooden like tower thingies was a drawbridge that could be raised or lowered to allow boats like those big boats over in front to pass through. And then eventually...
A little drawbridge mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. You can actually see... They did a really good job of building it in here. And it was one of many instances of the Rialto Bridge falling down. It fell down in 1524, I think in the middle of a parade. And there was an architecture competition in 1551 that was held to design a new version of the bridge. There were a lot of entries for this bridge. As you know, it's Rialto Bridge. It's a big fucking deal. Among other people who were tapped for this competition, Michelangelo submitted a design. The architect Palladio submitted a design. Palladio's design is the best design. If you look up Palladio Rialto Bridge, you'll see it. It's like neoclassical as fuck. It's the coolest thing. This version was done by a guy named Antonio da Ponte, which his name is Antonio of Bridge, which is hilarious. His design.
Sure that was his name, and that's not just what they named him afterwards?
Good question. I actually don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But his bridge was chosen because it was a wide design bridge, and that's the current Rialto Bridge. I don't think it looks the best, but it was chosen as that design to allow for processions to go through. So it's one big, wide thoroughfare, big, open, easy, straightforward.
So I get motion sick because I like to see.
So yeah, let's take a couple questions here, and I'll get back to the question about why Venice is falling. Peter Millick with $5 says, "What historical figure / fictional character would you each like to teach you how to fight, and what with?" I would love to be taught how to wield a knife by Brutus. He was pretty good with it.
Oh,
I don't know, Cyan, what about you? Who'd you like to teach you how to fight?
I'd like to, along with all my favorite, all those fun French fencers who just magically disappeared and became better fencers, go out to Italy and learn Italian-style fencing.
Oh, are we going to talk about that? Let's talk about that. So, you know how fencing is like French and everyone acts like it's French? All of the Frenchmen in the Renaissance would like leave France for 2 years and go to Italy and learn from the way better Italian fencers, and then come back to France like, yes, I was on this grand tour of self-discovery. Here's all these fencing manuals that I made up with myself. So all of like French fencing is just straight stolen from Italy. Anyway. That is a little ornate hay basket, so I'm going to take a couple questions here. Jump onto the target's face. Is this joke old? Do you think an AC game in Iron Age Celtic Britain would be a good idea? I think it'd be fun. I mean, a lot of it's execution. Like, I thought an ancient Greek Peloponnesian War Assassin's Creed would be a good idea. And then, well... Next question. Okay, hold on. Burley Foil of $2 or £2 says, "How many JoJo jokes do you expect involving Ghiaccio?" Is that a JoJo's reference? No.
Where's the other green?
No, he's not here. No, I'm not up on my JoJo. I know just enough jokes about it, but I don't know everything. So unfortunately, I cannot say for certain whether or not that is JoJo's reference.
Cool on top of this tower.
If you go, what?
That was a pretty roundabout answer.
It was a pretty roundabout answer. If you go up, you can climb onto the viewpoint. Oh my God, there's so many questions. You guys are all so generous. Hey Blue, quick question. Why did you go for a classics degree and not a full-on history degree? Good question. My degree was actually a split degree. It was half classics and half philosophy. I weighted it more towards classics, but like I did Plato, Aristotle, the Roman guys, mostly Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle, the ancient Greek rhetoricians, pre-Socratics, and all that stuff. So I didn't do a full-on history degree because I really wanted to keep it as like a classical thing, because Greek and Rome and like their culture was my jam. So if you press triangle, it'll do a cool like.
Wow, it does it for me.
So maybe I would change into a history degree, but as I did it, I chose classics. I was satisfied with it, except for taking ancient Greek. That was not fun.
I think you scrolled all the way to the bottom.
Okay. Eric Fenton with $20, thank you very much, says, "Love these history lessons. It should totally become a series where you guys walk through all the AC games." Well, stay tuned, because that's actually exactly the idea.
That's the green one.
Okay. First we did Florence, this one's Venice. We're going to do Rome, probably Constantinople at some point,
Wait,
depending
can
on
I
which...
drop off these things?
You can.
How do I jump
Hold
off?
right trigger, and then X, and then forward, and you'll... Try again. Yeah! And you'll jump. Okay, hopefully I'm not missing all
Like
these
a glove.
questions. The Under the Stair Bear, that's hilarious, says, what do you guys have to say to someone planning / hoping to study mythology and ultimately archaeology, largely inspired by your channel? Oh, that's so cool. Thank you. I'm glad that you felt a passion to do something historical, mythical, archaeological. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Ooh, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Find a program that has the kind of stuff you like, that specializes in the kind of archaeology that you want to study.
Yeah, because these fields are big, and you can find a college with a department that's like the best language in, you know, anywhere, or like they really specialize in like Greek mythology. But if that's not super what you want, then, you know, it might not end up being the best fit for you. So I'd say consider what parts of a degree you're interested in and try to find something that fits it. But honestly, just go for it, try to learn, be open to what you might find. Maybe you go to start with mythology and find that you're more into archaeology. Just, you know, flow with it. Try to build up relationships with your professors so that you can help them help you, because professors love to kind of give students advice on what they think they should do. So I'd say just go for it. Don't feel any pretense about, you know, how things could go wrong. Just try it, see what you like, and enjoy it. Okay.
Did I just make it right back to where I was earlier?
Possibly. No, you're on the other side.
Hey!
Okay. I'm trying to answer these questions, all guys. I'm so bad. What's your thoughts on Diogenes? Best philosophy
He's
meme
definitely a
ever.
man.
Yeah. Hey Blues from Mira128, one of our amazing Discord mods. You should go check out our Discord. Been waiting for the stream since you did the last one of historical architecture styles. What's your favorite? I'm going to talk about that very soon. Hold your horses. I've got a lot of things that I'm talking about here all at once.
We're not going to be able to answer everyone's questions as much as we appreciate, or we won't be able to actually tour Venice.
Okay, so getting back to the question of why Venice is sinking, that itself is sort of a question of why Venice exists in the first place. It was built on the water because that was the only place that the Lombards couldn't get them. Because as Rome was collapsing, and then as other people were coming into Italy after he's up there, after Justinian, he is. But you can shoot him with your gun.
Wait,
because you have a
gun?
fucking gun. Yeah, hold R1.
R1.
Okay, look at the little 5. Yep. Okay. Now press L2. Hold. Press again. Sorry. Look at him. Press L2. Okay. Hold square.
I like how your mind is like you yourself have the gun.
Well, because that's how like it's muscle memory with controllers. So anyway, but Venice was built up in the water. It was originally built
How do I
on.
even get over there?
You just jump. It was originally built on pre-existing islands, and the most famous of the original islands in the Venetian lagoon is the island of Torcello, which was a Byzantine city for a very long time. So there's a really famous church. He fell. There's a really famous church that you can see if you go to the island of Torcello, and it shows one of the earliest styles of Venetian architecture, which is just like basically, you know, Byzantine with a couple touches. But after Venice became independent, that's the body. After Venice became independent from the Byzantine Empire, when Ravenna ditched in like the mid 750s during iconoclasm, watch my newest Byzantine videos for more on that. Venice started to take on a little bit of its own style as it built itself up and started putting in more islands into the area around the Rialto. Rialto is Italian for high water. Hold square.
It's just this punch.
Hold square. Oh, yeah. Well, ooh, yikes.
I told you guys that it's not gonna work.
It's okay, we're having fun. So the Venetians, to build up more islands on the Rialto, which was called high water because those were the highest islands in the lagoon and it was the best place to build out from, they built a series of...
itself off my leg.
Yeah, because it buzzes when you die. The Venetians built a series of small islands and then only later started connecting them to each other.
Why can't I climb a tree?
Yeah, that was at an Assassin's Creed 3. If you actually turn around and you look at the well, every old Venetian island is basically a big square, some buildings, a church, and a well. And that was the original design for how the city was built.
What happens if I drop down the well?
You can't. You can throw people down the well, but you can't drop down the well.
That's sad.
So it was originally a bunch of very small squares with, you know, a church, a well, and that was it. And then later you would get bridges like this built out of bricks and stone and stuff like that. Cyan, if you actually jump off the bridge...
I can jump off the bridge but not into the well?
Yeah.
Lame.
There are dead bodies in the well.
There's dead bodies in the ocean.
Yeah.
Lagoon.
Bad news, guys. So if you look over to the side, but no, that's the boat. If you go over to the side there, yeah. Over on the bottom, you can see a layer of marble sticking out of the water, and then above it, you see bricks. That is white marble from Istria, which is basically the coast of Croatia nowadays. And that marble was chosen as the foundation for the buildings because it's very sturdy, it's not porous, so salt water won't seep through it. And then after that, you can see, someone just fell into the water. After that, above it, if you look to your left, you can see that the bricks are built on top of it. So the big design challenge of Venice was building it sturdy so that the water wouldn't just rip through it, but also light so that it wouldn't, crush the foundations that it was standing on, because it was built on these piles that were super strong, but it only accomplishes so much. So Venice was built to be light and, easy to kind of deal with the floating and the raising and lowering of the tides. So as it was built, the Istrian stone was up about, half a meter from the water level, but of course the water level changes, and with stuff that happens, like floods, Venice was built to sustain itself during floods. But the problem is that in the mid-1900s, the Venetians were working on a couple architecture projects that ended up actually draining the lake bed.
This guy, is that why
you can. You can get him for money. There were a couple of architecture projects that ended up actually draining the water in the lake bed. So
is everyone gonna try to kill me now?
Yes.
Nice.
You can run away. It's okay.
Woo!
So
you could run away.
Yeah, so you're doing great. So the level of Venice actually kind of fell down.
I'm just gonna punch him instead.
Oh, it's so hard to. Okay. Well, let's. Love you both. Your faces written blue from Malice. Let's see.
Oh, look, a ladder. Wait, they're in the way of me and the ladder.
Okay.
I can't use the ladder.
Red says, I didn't know you could just lose your balance and fall off. You guys are awesome and inspire my love of mythology to create my own animated series, and for that I thank you. Side note, it's bold of you to stream on Super Bowl Sunday. Be honest, who of you are going to watch the fucking Super Bowl? Come on.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come do the more fun thing. Learn about history.
We're not going to stream.
So part of the reason that Venice is sinking is because it's connected to the lagoon, which is part saltwater, part freshwater, and naturally, as just a function of it being an open lagoon, water will come in and come out, and just by the way that the salts and the silt and the dirt kind of move around, sometimes more water will be able to get through, sometimes less water will be able to get through. And because of the seawater rising a little bit, but also just because Venice has been slowly sinking and settling over the course of the past several decades after this it wasn't fracking, but it was some architecture thingy that ended up lowering the ground level of Venice by 20 centimeters. Aqua alta, high water, the flooding, has always been a reality of living in Venice, but recently it's just been getting worse. So, 2 weeks after Venice was flooding, the canals were almost dry just because all of that tide water came out. So it's not that Venice is strictly sinking, it's that the high water is becoming more unpredictable and more common. So there are a handful of ways that they're trying to fix this. One of the most bold plans that is in the works now, but it's been getting held up by money laundering and graft and all kinds of other problems, is a series of dams in the mouths of the lagoon that can rise and lower to stop the water level. It's been 2 years away for the past 10 years. Hopefully it's going to be finished soon, but that'll be a way to stop. That's such a pretty angle. That'll hopefully be a way to stop some of the floodwaters. But yeah, so that's a quick guide to why Venice is sort of the way it is. Built in the water, a series of small islands built up over time, gradually connected by more and more bridges, built with stone on the bottom to keep it sturdy, but bricks on top to keep it light. That's also why if you kind of look around, I don't know if you can find it
I
here.
have no idea where we are. That's another thing that you guys should know about why I'm going to be bad at this. I have no spatial reckoning skills at all.
Yeah. So again, for any of you who aren't aware, I am talking and I'm reading the comments and everything. Cyan is on the controller.
And as a Nintendo kid who is not into PlayStations, I am bad at this, so you'll have to bear with me. And also, I have no spatial understanding, so I have no idea where we are right now, or even where we are compared to somewhere else. We should take Venice and push it somewhere else.
Not a bad plan, Eric Fenton. I like your thinking.
So where are we?
So we are in the area right.
Fancy.
That is St. Mark's. We're gonna get there in a second. If you turn around, That is the Arsenal of Venice. This is the shipyards
Can we go in there?
Yes, we can.
Can I get it there from here?
If you look down and to your right, you can jump across there. Yeah, that'll work. You can, if you go ahead, and if you try to jump on that little column of little white marbles, you might be able to get it. Ooh. You know, that's okay. Find your way to shore and we'll see how we can get inside the arsenal.
Not like that. Oh look, there's a little ledge.
Yeah. The arsenal was built over a series of decades in the 11 and 1200s, and it became like the shipyards of Venice. It was the place where all of the boats for the Republic were made. Boats would come in for repairs, they could be stripped down and repurposed. At the height of its productivity in the 1400s, they could put out an entire galley every 16 hours, I think the number was, like start to stop. And at one point there was a French king who was just visiting Venice, and they showed him like, oh, like for today, we're gonna show you a boat being made. And he was like, holy heck. It was basically the most advanced industrial machinery in terms of like the production capabilities up until, you know, 19th century England.
Am I supposed to crawl along the side and try to get that ledge?
Jump into that boat, get the gondola.
Whee!
Go up to the oar, press circle. And if you hold circle, you will...
Row, row your boat gently.
Can you go in the right?
Oh, the right? Oh,
yeah.
Hold on.
Left, lid. Red says, I don't know how to explain that Cyan and I are not the same person.
Funny. We're not the same person.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Oop. Uh-oh. Okay, it's not letting you do that. So hop off the gondola. Oh, actually, pull up the map for a second. Hold on, pull up the map.
How do I pull up the map?
Press the big little mini button. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there's no way to do that. You have to get on land and run around to here.
Okay.
So we're gonna go
He's
up.
pointing in real life as well.
Yeah. So you're gonna get off the gondola.
That's not circle. I keep trying to push circle. And
Okay,
it's
so
not
push X to walk, and you're gonna just
Whee!
jump. Yeah, you got it. So try to go over there, and then you're gonna head left.
To the person who says we need photo proof that I am not red, first of all, we don't actually sound that similar. We're just both female.
Yeah.
And second of all, I am a ghost, and I try to stay that way, so no.
Cyan is an enigma and a mystery. Saul Bastro, hey, Blue and Cyan, you guys are both great. Question for Cyan, how often does Blue go on history rants in your day-to-day life?
Constantly.
Answer honestly.
Constantly. Like, you guys hear these stories and you're like, oh, those are fun stories. I've heard all of them 17 times.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I don't mind, but constantly. It's constant. And sometimes he'll start saying something and he'll be like, wait, have I told you this? I'm like, yes. He's like, today? I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Lycan's Blood 1 says, so AC is my favorite series because hold R2 and then press X and you should be able to run. Oh, you are just fully glitched.
Whee!
Cool. Lycan's Blood 1 says, so AC is my favorite.
The lake?
Oh, thieves. I feel like I can get a look into history, and Ezio is my favorite assassin. Who's your favorite assassin? You are correct. Ezio. The correct answer is Ezio. He's the best assassin. The best.
So I know you told me to go to a specific spot, but I have no idea where that is.
No, you're going right. Head left after this little bridge.
This
way? Yeah. Okay. Eric Fenton, okay, so I should probably stop sending guys my college money. Last one I promise. Love you guys. Keep up the epic work. Thank you, Eric. Please save your college money for yourself. Yes, go in there.
Aha.
Now, you are in the Arsenale. So as you can see,
I was here when I went to Venice.
Yeah. It's fun. Now I think it's actually partially a military base.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't go in that door. That will cause us a lot of problems.
Can I climb over the
You
door?
can climb over. You can climb on the ladder.
I made the dude drop his box.
It's fine. Those boxes are full of nothing.
Do I have to kill him?
You can.
Bye.
There we go.
Bap.
So this is a smaller version of the arsenal compared to what it would be in real life, obviously, because much like Florence, this game is just shrinking down the intermediate bits to show you all the good stuff in one easy way. The thing that I really like about this game is that they present a Venice that is kind of nebulous and web-like and easy. I don't think he has anything to loot. Oh,
I want to pick him up and push him in the lake.
Yeah.
Hey.
There you go. The game is accurate to how hard it is to navigate Venice. It's very labyrinthine and easy to get lost in, which is great. But you can actually run along the masts of the ships. That'll be a fun challenge mode. Zachary, you're fine.
I I'm not good at this. I told you guys.
Zachary
It's not that I'm
Nasius
bad
has
at
recently
games.
found your channel and I love it. Can't wait to see more. Thank you, Zachary.
I'm just bad at this game.
Yeah.
Let's try that again.
Hey, Cyan, what was going through your mind when you broke Blue Saber when you first met? Wow, that's a deep
That's
pull.
a deep pull.
That's a deep pull.
Well, here's the thing. I was a BB freshman, and though I had fenced for a while and broken people's swords before, I had never done that here, and I just felt really, really bad. This was like the second time we had ever seen each other, so yeah. I felt bad. I felt really bad.
Yeah. It's okay. We had fun. But so the arsenal is cool to see because it's a little piece of the mercantile machinery of Venice at work. Because Venice was obviously a lot of independent merchants and stuff, but everything was organized by the state. Shipping manifests were dictated down to the crossbow bolt that you would carry. Everything was organized to be as efficient as possible. And it kind of sounds like communism, but it was more of a technocracy where the merchants were the ones who were in charge of setting the rules.
Standing firmly on this master.
Exactly. So the arsenal is a testament to the way that Venetians do business because it was designed by the government to make the city of Venice as efficient as a mercantile power as possible. So there was a lot of...
Cyan is obviously purple. Who was purple? Oh, right. No.
Incorrect.
Cyan
Blue,
is
please
cyan.
notification series. I might. But the arsenal is a great example of how much Venice was working as just a finely tuned machine through almost all of its existence, where there's, all these different bays where you can work on ships and just send them out into the water when they're ready to go. Ships were constantly repaired and everything.
The bays over there.
Yeah, there are all those little things with little roofs on them.
No.
Venice was actually the first... Press triangle. Hold it. There we go. Venice was the first state to invent the concept of public debt. Because the government could force loans to raise money for certain things. Venice also invented the concept of business and travel insurance because it was hard being a merchant with the chance that your entire livelihood could be lost on one bad storm where all your shit gets knocked out and then you come back to Venice soaked and with no boat. So Venetians had invented a form of travel insurance where you could just pay into it and not have to worry about losing everything if one bad shipment goes down. So more people were able to take the leap and become merchants because they didn't have to front as much of the cost. So again, he's just some dude. He's just minding his daily life. Please don't kill him.
No, I was just gonna okay. I wanted to say hi, but
there's no way to say hi in this game.
Aww.
It's not like like Zelda where you can just kind of press A to talk to people.
Just chat with everyone.
Yeah, if only. It's not like Skyrim.
Let me chat with random NPCs 2K20.
Yeah.
I'm like, what year is it?
Sarah, $5 says, how much has the geography of countries affected their history? Oh my god, so much.
Yes.
Watch any one of my history videos to find the answer to that question. But we're going to take a break from some questions for a second to talk about a couple other things.
Like, where am I?
Like, we're in the arsenal. We're having fun.
Yes, we're still in the arsenal.
Yeah.
Stab.
No, yeah, those are punches.
Strafe, dot.
Okay, let's see.
Did I just knock him off? Oh.
No, he fell. Yeah, he fell.
Yeah.
So...
Sorry, dude.
The original buildings in Venice, like we were talking about with Torcello, you can't go in it.
Aww.
The original buildings were all based on vaguely Byzantine styles, so much like how Ravenna is...
Oh no.
Okay, that's fine. There we go. Much like how Ravenna was a very old Byzantine city, Venice was the same way when it was first built. The Venice that we know on Rialto was really built up during the 9th, 10th, and 11th centuries.
A brick wall?
Yeah.
It's a brick wall.
It's a 10-year-old game, dude. But the original style was a kind of Veneto-Byzantine, a lot of brickwork because it was easy, wasn't too complicated.
Bricks make an excellent counterweight.
Bricks make an excellent counterweight as well. That's why colonial architecture in America is the way that it is. But in the 12th to 15th centuries, we got a lot of the Venetian Gothic style, which we can't really see here because this is pretty much all bricks. It was built for purpose. So if you can find your way out of the arsenal, that one, white door with the gates, yeah.
Yeet!
Yep, just swim over there. You're good. So the Venetian Gothic style was developed in the kind of 12 to 1500s, which a lot of people consider like the heyday of the Venetian Republic. Not so much the city of Venice itself, it was made a lot prettier later, but the style of very light, high columns, those kind of like club-shaped windows, because Venice can make all the glass it wanted, so buildings had large windows, which was a very uncommon design feature. But also, Venice was basically the only place that was willing to trade with Muslims, so a lot of Moorish design philosophies came to influence Venetian architecture and Venetian art styles in a way that made Venice a lot prettier than other places in the world in Europe, because Europe was mainly working on Romanesque and then eventually developed its way into having, you know, what's the word that I just said? Gothic. And eventually developed its way into having Gothic, which is just more ornate Romanesque. But Venice was pulling a lot of different styles because it had Byzantine, it had Gothic, it had Romanesque, it had eventually classical. We'll get to that a little later. The kind of red brick, white marble style is very classic Venetian.
Ooh, look at tower.
That is a very old tower.
Can we go to it?
We can go to it. And that is kind of the height of Venetian Romanesque. This part of the city, the Castello area, is meant to be a little more rough and tumble, a little older, shows the more industrial side of the city in a way where, you know, Rialto and San Marco is very pretty, very ornate. It has a little bit of neoclassical stuff, which really wouldn't have actually been there at that point, because classical design, you're good. Classical design came to Venice in the 15, 16, and 1700s. The first one to really do it was the architect Palladio, who was tasked with designing a lot of Venetian colonies in the terra firma, so Padua, Verona, Vicenza, a lot of those places, mostly Vicenza in the case of Palladio. Classicism in Venetian architecture mainly started on the mainland and then came to Venice itself a little later. But there were a lot of debates about, like, oh, do we do Gothic? Do we do classical? You know, this stuff doesn't work, it doesn't fit, it doesn't make sense. But eventually, the kind of hodgepodge of different styles between, you know, Byzantine, Romanesque, Gothic, classical came to define the Venetian art style of being just a beautiful medley of a ton of different things.
Where am I supposed to climb?
Up.
There.
So you're going to press X to jump up, and then press circle to grab. Yep, there you go. So let's take a couple questions.
But where do I go from here? There's nowhere to, like...
Do it again.
Oh.
Yep.
Where?
Yep. Okay. Hi, Red and Blue. This isn't a Venice question, but I'm curious. What BS do you think Ireland will have to put up with now that Britain finally left the EU? Respectfully, I'm not touching that question.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, I died again.
All I'm going to say about that is Eira Gobra. And if you know what that means, good.
Just a city boy.
Okay. It's nice of the Venetians to exclusively wear pale blues and steel grays so you can pick yourself out of a crowd more easily. Yes, red is correct. I noticed that
This
like
is the
last
tower I was
week.
trying to climb, right?
When I came back to playing this game, like, oh my god, every single fucker in this city is just wearing blue and gray. Makes it easy. Good game design.
GG.
GG. Lycan's Blood 1 says, my favorite tool was the hook blade from AC Revelations. So sad they took it away. Which tool do you like the most? The hook blade is good. You see, the hook blade has two parts. The hook and the blade. So you can use one or the other.
The hook was the blade.
No, it's that's a meme from Assassin's Creed Revelations. We'll get to it eventually. Yeah. It's fucking like...
And like the announcement for Revelations when they announced the hook blade.
Yeah.
Or no, wasn't that in the game?
It was, well... What was your question?
Green is also
like,
here.
it can be used as a hook and there's the hook and the blade.
Yeah.
Is that in the game?
That is a line of dialogue in the game. Yusuf Tazim says, the hook blade has two parts, you see? The hook and the blade. So you can use one or the other. It's the most wacky nonsense dialogue that was written by a fucking game designer before it ever touched like one of the writer's desks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Sometimes game dialogue is just
why
wacky.
is the same button to grab the button to not grab?
You're right, that's why they changed it in the next game. So what other things can I talk about here? So classical architecture in Venice was started after really in the city 1514 when a fire ran through a lot of the Rialto islands and they're like, okay, look, we have these buildings, a lot of them burned down. Should we replace them with something? And that's when you really started to see the beginnings of classical designs in Venice. This game really doesn't show a lot of that because it's trying to present an authentic picture of 15th century, late 1400s Venice instead of the Venice that we see now, which is why, you're just gonna have to jump it. Yep, which is why Rialto Bridge is made of wood. We'll take a look at the Doge's Palace later to see how modern they show it, but that's another example of you just have to climb that one. Yeah. You just gotta, no, you can't do it, you just gotta walk up. Yeah. because the angle of the tower is too steep. You can't actually jump onto it.
What is that?
It's an eagle.
Oh.
And that's the arsenal.
Hey!
If you go up one more, if you go to the top of the cross.
Oh no.
You got it, you got it. Yeah, press triangle. Ta-da! And now, you're on top of the level. Someone says, quack! Oh my god. Untitled assassin game.
It's a beautiful day, and you were a terrible assassin.
Yes.
Cool.
What? That one did I get? Okay. Eagle's like, oh, I get your own perch. Yeah, exactly. So, what should we talk about next? We talked about Rialto Bridge. We talked about the overall architecture style of Venice. We talked about citywide stuff. Let's go to St. Mark's Basilica. So if you look to your left, that one.
Oh.
That's where we're going. Yeah.
You just want to go there because it has domes.
Well, of course I do. What do you take me for?
This way is the hay bale?
You can certainly try. You're going to want to jump into the water.
It's right there.
That's not a hay bale.
Oh.
Yeah.
Eat!
Press X again. You dive. Oh, okay, now you're
Not, I don't dive. You dive.
Swan dive. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. Yeah. So honestly, this game is a very accurate picture of 1400s Venice. Some things are tweaked to provide a certain experience of things being the way that we expect them to be.
Already?
Nope. This is a different one. This is San Zaccaria. I have nothing to say about it. I just know that it exists.
Do you know that exists from the game? Oh no.
You're good. The Quartier Generale di Bartolomeo del Viano. Bartolomeo del Viano is a character in the game, obviously. He's actually a very famous... Ooh! Good kill. He's a very famous Venetian mercenary who, during the War of the League of Cambrai, when France and the Pope were teaming up to fight Venice, Bartolomeo, with an inferior-sized... Yeah. An inferior-sized mercenary force held off a massive army and basically maybe single-handedly saved Venice? Stay tuned to Pope Fights 3, but it's way too far away. Oh. The tower is like over that way. So you're just going to keep going forward. Bartolomeo del Viano, silly as he is in the game, almost kind of single-handedly saved Venice from total destruction in the early 1500s during the Italian Wars.
Oh no!
He's a cool guy. Respect your local Bartolomeo del Viano today.
Who's your local Bartolomeo del Viano?
It's Bartolomeo del Viano.
Even if you don't live in Venice?
Everyone has a Bartolomeo del Viano. You just don't know who yours is yet.
Well, you just said that was his name. I asked you his name. Blue.
Okay, so you can actually, after this little building... Oh, another thing that this game does accurately.
There's random people on the roof that you have to kill.
Random people on the roof that you gotta kill.
You know I'm here.
Press square, press square. Got you out of there. Whoa, nice! If you look up and to the right, that is a Venetian flag. That's you. A little bit to the left. Yeah, that's a Venetian flag. The thing that they do is that they decided to color code Venice as blue, so the Venetian flag, which would have been red and gold, is shown as blue and gold.
It's the same one that's on your cape.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same design that's on your cape. So if you look to the wall, you see some Byzantine-style icons. This is the backside of the Doge's palace.
Are they all the same icon?
The budget for this game's animation was only so high. They did a lot of good work. You'll have to forgive them if they read.
Is it just St. Mark?
Probably, honestly, probably. If you go to the left and kind of hop down to the front, you will see...
Just hop down, he said.
So this is where the Bridge of Sighs would be. It is not there because it wasn't built until 1600. So this game is... Like, I really respect how much they held back in not putting certain things in the game. It's impressive they didn't have to do it, but they did, and I respect that.
We're in a restricted area, so...
That's okay, we're just going to walk outside of the colonnade in a second.
Oh, they're all going to kill me first, though.
Yeah.
Even if
Oh, it was good while we lasted. Okay. The Flying Pig with 10 pounds says, if you found yourself in this time period with the abilities and weapons of an assassin, but it was the real world and you had no competition, what would you do, assuming you can change history? I would become I'd basically pull an Ezio. I'd become a famous traveler. I don't know if you want to climb up all the way that high, because we're going to have to get down afterwards.
Yeah, but they're going to chase me if I don't.
Oh, okay.
See?
Yeah. Okay. I'd basically just become a really well-off tourist.
Oh no.
And maybe I'd get a job for Lorenzo de Medici as an assassin. Honestly, Ezio had it figured out. Uh-oh. Okay. Wow, that worked out very well.
Thank you.
So you're just going to kind of run in that way a little bit? Yeah, just run. Just go. Hey Blue, love the show. When I lived in Sicily, I often saw a brass Y nailed to the side of some of the older buildings, mostly churches. Do you know what the purpose of that is? Can't wait for the next episode. A brass Y. I don't know about a Y, but sometimes you'll see things that almost look like metal staples nailed into buildings. Those are structural supports to stop cracks in buildings from getting out of hand. But I'm not sure about Ys. I can't really speak to that. Silvastro says, okay, I should probably stop throwing my spending money at you, but also when are we getting a series on Cyan's area of expertise?
My area of expertise is either engineering or chemistry. I don't think you really want me to summarize that.
Also, Cyan is an adult with a full-time job.
Yes, I do.
I'm a hack on YouTube.
I actually do have technically like 8 to 4:30 job where I work for a company. It's, fun times.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a break from...
I have a cubicle.
Okay.
It's got a plant. It's a fake plant.
We're going to take a break for a second on the questions and look to the left. This is the Doge's palace. This was the place where...
like Achilles or something?
It's a statue of somebody. Honestly, it could be anyone. If you go up to the wall so you can kind of see a little closer, the patterning that looks like almost kind of like a little mini checkerboard with little plus signs and stuff, this is a touch that was added later. The facade that you see here was built in 1577 after a fire took out the first one. So this is the most that the game kind of bends the world to look the way that you as a tourist or as a historical connoisseur might expect it to look. The original facade was made of wood, and if you look at the columns with the little square, little clubby guys, the four-sided things, those were a typical Gothic touch, but the Venetians had a little bit more stylistic oomph with it. So they had fun making those kind of touches in white marble and keeping an open, airy space to save on as much weight as possible, while also making it look really nice. So that's a cool little bit of design.
So I saw where you wrote brick Gothic, and I thought it said brick garlic, and I thought it was supposed to be like garlic bread, but I guess Venice wasn't known for their garlic bread.
When you leave bread out too long, it becomes brick garlic. Venice actually was known for biscotti because they had to have bread on their very long voyages, so they baked it twice. Which is what biscotti means, twice baked.
Did you see that guy on the corner of that building over there glitching?
He's having a hard time, man. It's like his first day on the job, he's like, fuck, I don't know where to go. Yeah. Let's see, anything else that I have here?
Do you want me to go over there? Can I go
You actually cannot go over there. You can only get there in the mission.
On top.
I know, but you can't actually get there. You can only get there in the mission where you do Da Vinci's flying machine.
Lame.
And then, I know, and it walks you out for the rest of the game. It's infuriating. But this building here is one of the few non-religious buildings that was built
Look, it's got the lion.
Yeah, lines everywhere. One of the few buildings that was built in the very ornate Venetian Gothic style. Everything else that's built Venetian Gothic is churches and palazzos, and we'll actually talk a little about palazzos later on.
Can I go over there onto the domes?
You can go over there onto the domes. The funny thing about the Doge's Palace is it was originally built in like the 1300s. The architectural style changed partway. They made some renovations over time. That one you can't. You have to go onto another face of the building to... This is actually kind of a pain in the ass to climb.
Oh.
Not too bad.
We didn't die.
There was an architect, who was tasked with redesigning the Doge's Palace.
Which
Eventually,
side am I supposed to climb? This side?
That one maybe, or use the little stairs on the front.
Oh, hey, look, it's Yaskir.
Yes, Yaskir. Toss a coin to your assassino, oh, citizens of Venice. Whatever. But there was an architect, that's the word, who was in charge of the building. He was found to be laundering money at an exorbitant rate out of the project and into his own pocketbook.
Oh, I
so
see.
they fired him. There's spaces to climb. So they fired him, hired a new architect. This guy had a design that was way more ornate and expensive than the old guy, but he didn't do any money laundering. So they used him, he finished the design, and that's what the final product ended up being. I think that might have been the one that fell on fire. But the funny thing is that in the end, it still ended up costing them the same amount of money because what they lost
was more expensive.
Yeah, what they lost on money embezzlement, they had to pay for because the design was more expensive, which is one of my favorite little details about the Doge's Palace.
Oh look, I'm almost to the top.
Let's see. Love the video, you guys. From
Ezio.
Ducci TPOR. Love the video you guys make. Hope you guys have a good year. P.S. Red Journey to the West, please. Oh, Red will get to Journey to the West when she gets to Journey to the West.
She just did it. Calm down.
Okay, let's see.
How do
You're gonna want to go to the side, go up, do the little jump thing, with the jump up, circle. Woo! Try again. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Try again. I think you can get it. Go to the top of the. If you go to the top of the circle. Yeah.
Jump, grab.
Okay. So there's no Bridge of Sighs. That was built later. The Doge's Palace was built in the
Stars.
It was originally, yeah. That's not there. That's part of the secret evil glyph things in the game. Because if you go and look at that, oh yeah, never mind. It glows red and evil the first time you do it. This building, this tower, collapsed in the early 1900s. There's a photo of it collapsing. That photo is a fake. It shows it kind of splitting right in the middle. But this building completely fell down and was rebuilt in the 1900s slightly differently. So if you look at old paintings of Venice, it'll look a little bit different, this campanile, the bell tower, to what it is now, but more or less same broad architectural style.
Should I just jump at the domes? And see
you will die, I will tell you that
so
right
how do
now.
I get to the dome?
You have to climb up the side.
I'm gonna try it anyway. If we die, we
have fun dying.
Yep. Full Metal Cyan Brotherhood.
Okay, what else can I talk about here? St. Mark's Basilica, when we get to see it, is basically...
Is that not where we are?
Yeah, when we get to the close part of it.
This side?
It's, nope, right there.
Hey.
It's basically a Byzantine church, but with Gothic design, so it's laid out in the style of the Greek cross.
Who's this guy?
He's a guard, you can just kill him. It is loaded up with Byzantine mosaics. Some of the finest Byzantine-style mosaics you can find anywhere are in Venice. And if you look up... ooh.
Why did you tell me to kill the guard?
I said you can kill him if you wanted to.
No, you just said you can kill him.
You know
Chat,
what? That's
support
on
me
me.
on this.
But yeah, if you look at these mosaics over here, that actually looks like it might be a reconstruction of one.
They can't catch me because I can't catch myself.
Yeah.
Whee! Whee! Whee!
Oh boy, we're having fun.
Circle? No.
There's so many red arrows.
They will.
Yeah.
And I will die.
That's a famous clock. I don't have anything I can say about it. It just exists.
Run in, and run in.
So these buildings that you're seeing a little bit here are much more...
Do they follow you into the lagoon?
No, they can't. The buildings that you're seeing here are a lot more classically designed because the game decided to show this is the area that's most classically inspired, even though these buildings really wouldn't have been accurate to this particular historical period.
I don't think they can see.
But the straight, white marble fronts and stuff. The first church to have it was a church on Giudecca Island designed by Palladio. There was another church, Santa Maria della Salute, which is not in this game because it was built in the 16 or 1700s. And then there were other buildings like the National Library of Venice. Now, just the Library of Venice is not national. Big F for all the Venetians out there. But that building is fully classical. You can look it up, Library of Venice. It's a gorgeous, classically styled building. They didn't put it in the game because it just wouldn't have been accurate to the time period, but the game has fun with some marble-y inspired classical type touches in places like this. But now we're crossing into the Castello area, which is just all...
I'm really trying to climb this dome, guys, I swear. I'm
so
trying to be supportive of the dome.
Right over there, yep, and just run through.
Sorry.
Brett says, this is your hourly reminder that Cyan and I are completely different people.
Yes. We are, in fact, not the same. Yeah. I know.
Oh, everyone's just commenting dome.
For those of you who need some time to process, take some time to process, but I am not red. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Honestly, this is kind of where my heart starts going out. How long have we been streaming on this thing? Domes. So this...
Restricted domes. Can I climb on the dome?
47 minutes. Okay,
Can
we're
I not climb on the dome?
You cannot climb on the dome.
What?
And unfortunately, you can't get into the Doge's Palace either, which is one of the most annoying things in this whole game, is that they lock it off to one...
making Venice?
I know!
They're not letting me go to any of the cool places?
You can go inside the church if we reload a saved mission, but then it's mostly a parkour challenge.
Just get to see me die during an actual mission. If that's what you want, we can do it. But let's get through the rest
everyone's
of
just commenting dome. So yeah, this is a very Byzantine style. This patterning up front here, like I said, was all added later. It was a compromise because the original wood design on the side of the church was basically that pattern. When it burned down, they said, all right, we're going to redo it. We're just going to make it look a little nicer. So they redid it with red and white marble.
Look at your Ezio. Now look at me. Now look at your Ezio. Now look at me. Sadly, he is not me.
But he could be if he uses assassin spice.
But he could be if he used marble.
Let's see. I don't know what I want to talk about here. I kind of exerted a lot of my notes here. It was mainly the Arsenal, St. Mark's. I mean, you can just see there's so much ornate Gothic style. Ooh, like this building is a super nice example
of guards.
Yeah, because technically that's a restricted area.
Well, they can fight me.
Yeah, well, that's what they're working on.
Can they see me if I go in here?
Yeah, but like if you see on the side, the back of the building is all brick because that was the original version of the church. It was only the front that was given a fancy facade. Because you are in combat, so you can't hide.
I'm not in combat though.
Yeah, you are.
No, they're all losers and they can't hit me.
You know what? You're not wrong. Now you're out of combat. So if you look on the left side there, that's all brick, and it just wasn't touched because it would have been way too expensive to cover the entire church in marble. Some churches, like St. Peter's in Rome, are marble front to back, up and down, inside and out. Those are extremely expensive churches, and that's why it took them so long to build. But a church like St. Mark's was built a while ago, before Venice really got all of its fancy empire money. So if you want to go left and towards the canal, I can tell you one more thing.
Canal is.
Left is towards the canal, so straight ahead.
Do-do-do-do.
See that kind of square-looking tower over there?
Nope.
Okay. This would make a great animated video. What did you do?
I died!
You fell off and died.
I looked away
He
for
said
5
go.
seconds.
He said go left. Do you see that big tower? And then while looking for the tower, I missed.
Oh wait, if you go left, if you go to look at the front of the church, if you look up, there's the same mosaic kind of copied a million times. It's just Jesus being like, "Wow."
Well, that's a different Jesus mosaic than this Jesus mosaic.
You're gonna get watch out.
Fight me.
No, that's not what you want.
You can't get too close to the Jesus.
But I don't think they have the horses of St. Mark here. At least I couldn't find them. If you could at some point turn around.
They won't follow me into the lake.
They will throw rocks at you, however.
Not when I'm under the bridge.
Okay. Cerise says, are you familiar with Paradox RTS games such as Europa Universalis 4, Citizens 2?
Look, it's working.
In which you can create alternate history timelines. I am familiar with them. I don't really play them because I'm not good at games that big. Age of Mythology is even sometimes...
My hide under the bridge trick worked.
Too high strats for me. Yeah, quit spamming in the chat. Yeah.
This is also Yaskir.
This is...
You cannot convince me otherwise.
Yaskir is everywhere.
Fishmonger,
fishmonger, come quell your daughter's hunger. And that's all we're gonna sing.
All the guards in the chest. You're a bad assassin.
Yeah. This is a pretty fancy neoclassical style touch. Probably wouldn't have been on the original church at this point.
Stack of wood.
Yeah, it's just a stack,
okay,
but
so
it allows you to jump up.
Go
behind you and then left.
Yeet.
So see where see where this thing is? We're going to this thing. We're going that way. We're going straight west. I can try to guide you guys.
I'm just like walking behind this group of guards, like chill.
What are people talking about in the chat?
Oh, Shad.
Oh, geez. Okay, yeah. For those of you who aren't aware, Shadiversity, excellent content creator in the historical in the historical YouTube space, is going in for an operation on Monday to help with his sleep apnea. He has a video about it on his channel. He's a great creator. Send him your love, but also obey the rules, which is no spamming. So go subscribe to Shadiversity. It's a good channel. He deserves it.
Do good things.
Let's see. Matthew St. Cyr says, thoughts on the Witcher show? It's great.
No,
I
we're just singing
love it.
songs for fun.
I can't believe
stuck in our heads at all.
I can't believe the song was.
On end.
I can't believe that song was so good. They made an entire show for it.
I totally didn't just learn how to play some of them on the violin. It's fine. Everything's Fine. Okay, from here, where do I go?
You're going to want to go, actually, you can jump down and get a gondola. Yeah.
Woo!
Xander Friend says, have you considered the history, philosophy of alchemy, Blue? I haven't really. I don't think there's anything I can contribute to that discussion. It's interesting, but I don't know if it's something that I'm really equipped to discuss. Cudlock and just go up the canal and follow it left. Cudlock13 says, Blue, as a college student, I only have 2 life goals. Get through college with no debt and save enough money to retire in Venice. What are your current life goals? P.S. Will you play Bloodborne again? I will never play Bloodborne again.
Am I going the correct way?
Yes, you are. My life goals are to have fun teaching people about history, eventually try to write some books about history, and then get a cat.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get a cat.
Get a cat. That's the goal. That's the goal.
If we get a cat, we'll bring the cat onto a stream one day, and you guys can not meet the cat because cats can't stream.
Cats are terrible streamers. Oh my god.
We'll tell you about the cat.
We'll have lots of conversations about the cat.
Streaming?
Yeah, we're
we're having a good time. Why is Blue talking loudly as if he's projecting in the middle of the...
No, that's just how you talk.
But where did you lie? Where's the lie? Born Again Greek with 5 pounds says, build your own utopia. If you could mix historical architecture, location, civilization, and fashion, what would it look like? Ooh, that's a very good question.
I'd like to start with a mix where people wouldn't burn me at the stake for going outside.
That's a good start. That's a good starting point. So that rules out Greece and most of Rome. I would like to, if I could build my own utopia, it would be vaguely neoclassical in style, but not at such a point where everything is marble because that's just excessive. Honestly, from an architectural perspective, yeah, he's serious. You're gonna want to go.
No, not him. You about not wanting all the marble.
There's eventually too much marble. Some of it can be bricks. Some of it can be bricks.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
Is there a place I can buy more medicine?
Yes, a doctor. See the plus sign on your map?
No.
Turn around. Walk a little bit. The plus sign on your map.
Yeah.
It would be mostly neoclassical, some kind of like, honestly, is it cheating to say a city like Venice, except not so busted and neglected for 300 years? Yeah, I'd love to have some kind of like vaguely Renaissance-y, neoclassical kind of touches. You have to go around the thing. I'd love for it to be kind of like a small city, a little bit of countryside around, maybe some big Theodosian walls or some shit. I don't know. I wish I could give you a better answer, but right now I'm in Venice, so I'm just thinking about Venice things that I like. Go down, press X, press X.
Do they get more expensive?
Press square, press X. We bought our last batch of medicine in Monteriggioni where we have a discount because we own that entire city. Sorry I can't give you an answer beyond Venice. Red says, my utopia has only 2 requirements, orbital space station and dragons. That is so fucking cool. My answer is lame. That is awesome. Space dragons!
I like dragons.
Space dragons. Forget space elevators. We need space dragons. So you're going to want to go to that big white marble building over there.
I'm trying to climb the thing.
So this is the last big thing that I have notes to talk about. Yeah, that one. Just get to a point where you can look at it without getting murdered by 6 guards on site.
You doubt me. And that's entirely valid. You should doubt me.
Get on it, scientist, says Red.
If any of you don't currently doubt me, you're wrong. Okay, die.
Press X to doubt. Okay, so we will look at this gorgeous building.
Press square to kill the guy.
Press square to kill the guy. This is the Palazzo della Seta.
Don't do violence, friends.
Don't do violence, unless it's in video games, and then you're not actually hurting anyone, so it's okay. Those 1s and 0s, they'll be fine. So we are currently looking at the Palazzo della Seta, the Silk Palace in Venice.
No, the one down.
Eric Schultz, really quick. Blue, did you ever read John Julius Norwich's trilogy on Byzantium when you made the Byzantine videos? I recommend them if you haven't. Also, why isn't Constantinople your favorite city instead of Venice? Constantinople, it got destroyed a few too many times for me to really have a good sense of it in the way that, like, Venice, it still exists. It's just kind of, like, run down. The John Julius Norwich trilogy on Byzantium is an excellent series of history books. That is exactly the books that I read when I was working on my videos. You can see them cited in my videos, because I do cite things sometimes. At me, Sarcastic GM, our wonderful Discord mod. So this building is called the Palazzo della Seta. It does not exist. It is not a real building. I embarrassed myself immensely when I asked my tour guide in Venice, where is Palazzo della Seta? She had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. I Googled it.
Can we go in it?
We cannot. Actually, yes, we can. Yeah, we can. We can go inside. We can go inside. When I found out, when I Googled it and saw the first result was the Assassin's Creed wiki, I knew that I had been horribly lied to. This building just is made up for the purposes of the game to serve as a mission area where you go kill Emilio Barbarigo. It is, however, succeeding in two very interesting things. It is a great example of peak Venetian palazzo architecture. Palazzos were massive and kind of hard to shove into a game like this, so they really made one palace to be like the big quintessential Venetian, not the Doge's palace. And it fits all the bills of like perfect, ornate as hell, Venetian Gothic design, marble out the ass, everything is just glitz and glamour like whoa. This building is designed to mimic, it is not directly inspired by, or it is directly inspired by, it's designed to mimic, it's not a carbon copy of the Ca d'Oro, the Casa del Oro, House of Gold. Venetian dialect shortens everything so it becomes the Ca d'Oro. So it is basically meant as a tribute to a recreation of that other famous building. I don't know if there was a legal reason they couldn't use the original name, but this is basically a copy of one of the most famous palaces in Venice. The Ca d'Oro was it built later? Hold on. D'Oro. If you look it up, it looks very similar to the Palazzo della Seta. Okay, come on. We're in Venice. Give me the Wikipedia. When was it built?
You get no Wikipedia.
Okay. Construction started 1428. Construction stopped 1430. All right, so the building would have existed at the point where this game takes place. And the fact is that this building, Palazzo della Seta, if you look on a city map of Venice, this is exactly where the Ca d'Oro should be, but it's Palazzo della Seta instead. So they took some liberties with it, they kind of mixed it up, they made it super fancy to kind of hint at some of that late Venetian super uber classical style that comes in a little later, but this building is not actually real. No, we're good. Thanks, though. People are commenting domes. There are no domes here. Red says, when will video games perfect stair climbing animation technology?
Never.
Yeah, it's tough because there's a lot of inverse kinematics you have to do to make all of the stairs fit, so it's easier to just program a ramp. And if you actually kill people on a staircase in this game, it will snap so that both characters are on the same level, but one of them will be floating off the ground or one of them will be clipping into the floor, just like cats. What? What, Green? What? Fucking say it.
Okay, I've been getting vilified for actually liking Cats 2019, and I said it before and I'll say it again. I mentioned it once, and now every time it's been mentioned subsequently, someone else has brought it up. I am fine, and I am happy to continue the conversation, but then I'm the one that gets shit on for wanting to keep talking about Cats 2019.
Okay, TBH, I thought we were talking about the animal, and I was like totally okay with it. Like, yes, real life cats totally clip through floors.
Cats have no clipping technology.
I honestly just was okay with thinking that.
Was there ever a cat so clever as
Stop
Magical
it!
Mrs.
Stop
Conley?
it! Stop it!
Green, as someone who speaks for all Cats fans, what do you think about it? Okay, Cerise says, if you were a history teacher / professor, what would you include in video games to support your lessons? Or would you include video games to support your lessons, like giving them homework to play it? Giving them homework to play it,
that's hard,
maybe,
then they
maybe
have
not.
To buy it, and that's expensive.
Yeah. If I was talking about history, I would do exactly this. I would fire up Assassin's Creed and show, like, look, here's Palazzo della Seta. It's not real. It's actually based on this building instead, and use that to kind of support
It's excellent graphics to see, like, in almost 3D where a thing is.
Video games by themselves can only teach you so much, but they can provide a sense of tone, set a world, and make the history that you're looking at feel a little more alive than it would be otherwise. So it has its benefits. I don't know if I would assign it as homework in that sense, but being a history teacher is tough. It's being any kind of teacher is tough. You have to, do all these lessons, take care of your students. They have needs, they're people. It's easy for me to just make videos and, I have a good time, but like, your teachers do a lot of hard work. They deserve the love. Anyway, I actually don't have a lot of other notes here. I don't know. Do you want to just like look at other stuff? Because
you guys want to see me jump off this building?
Do it.
Whee!
Will you die? Take bets. There we go. So just on the edge of what would be deadable. Let's see. How long have we been going for? We've been going for like
a while.
Like an hour and change.
Yeah.
Let's see. Look at when my tweet went out. We can see 1 hour.
Also, yes, the people in the
4:49.
chat saying appreciate your teachers. Appreciate your teachers.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about the things to talk about because Venice is tough because it's so big and there's so many things that it's hard to narrow it down because there's so many churches that I could talk about, but I don't know a lot about all of them because my knowledge of Venice as like an architectural organism is a lot less complete than my knowledge of Florence as an architectural organism because Florence is smaller and most of it was built in the span of about 200 years, so it's a whole lot easier to keep track of. Whereas Venice is bigger, much more complicated of a system. It was built and rebuilt over so much time where just the city itself is an architectural feat. You can get so caught up in the mechanics of how neoclassicism and, you know, Veneto Gothic design and Veneto Byzantine design evolved and interacted that you can forget the whole fucking city is built on water. It almost falls into the background of all these amazing, gorgeous buildings that were built up. So I wish that I could speak more specifically, but my knowledge of Florence is probably where I'm at my best in terms of encyclopedia. Now he's just horrified of you. You're like in Goose Game with the guy on High Street who just runs away from you all the time. Yeah, the kid. Stop tormenting the NPC. It's a lovely day in Venice, and you are a horrible assassin. Press square to honk.
You mean like this?
Yeah. God. Arian Wen Wharton says, Blue, what's your favorite historical moment? And Red, what are your top 10 favorite myths? All
Red's
types
not here, guys.
Also,
sorry.
1 for me, 10 for Red. That's a tough amount of questions to answer.
It's a canal. It's not a lake.
Yeah. My favorite historical moment, if I had to pick one, it's hard. I like.
Thank you, Red.
I think I like a moment, like an event, like that's tough.
You synchronized. Your ancestors did not harass pedestrians. You don't know me. You don't know my ancestors. Some of my ancestors were Scottish. They definitely harassed pedestrians.
Oh yeah, that's what the heck.
Did I just swim off the map?
Oh no, you just pressed the map button.
Whoops. Go back.
You're good.
Oh, that's swear.
Yeah. Red says, I don't think I can list top 10 anything off the top of my head. Top 10 moments, top 10 events.
I killed a dude and now there's loot.
That's a tough thing to quantify. I like, in terms of like places in history, Venetian Crete would have been really cool because it was one of the last main centers of Hellenic culture. And even still, like Venetian culture was like half Byzantine. So I think that would have been a really interesting spot in like the 15 and 1600s. After the fall of Constantinople, I'm going to talk about that in my Byzantines Part 3 video. Muslim Spain is a really cool moment in history because there's just so much cultural clashing and changing and mixing in going on that it's really neat.
I feel like I'm like third wheeling this older couple right now. Like they were having an argument and I just sat on their bench just like, hey, what you talking about? How you guys doing? You guys holding up? I'm holding up.
It's like they're sitting on opposite ends because they just got a different argument and it's like, I can't believe you, Stefano. And he's like, well, fine, I'll sit on the other end of the bench. And then Ezio's like,
hey,
salve.
How you doing? You know any good bars in the area? No? Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, bye.
Where can an assassin go to get the drink around here? If you could save any lost text from history, what would it be? I wish we still had Emperor Claudius's Tyrannica from He Who Seeks Mercy. I would enjoy saving the other 80% of Livy's History of Rome. I feel like we could have gotten some good shit out of that. But I'm trying to think of any other specific book that I'd love to have the rest of. It'd be great to have all of Sophocles' plays, because we only have 7 out of like over 160 that he wrote. Maybe it's 60 or 160. So Sophocles would be really great to have all of his books. Any one specific book, though, just off the top of my head, I think it'd be great to have Livy's History of Rome. That'd be really helpful, because we have the very beginning stuff, and then the rest is just, who the hell knows. Gotta be weird to be someone inside these buildings, says Red, watching Ezio silently scramble up your windowsill. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to look at and do.
You want to watch me try to run from building to building? I swear it will be funny because I don't know how to do it.
Oh, you know what? Here, pull up your map. Pull up your map. Okay. We are. Oh no, we're in the middle. I was going to say we could have a race from one end to the other.
Oh, how do I get to the? Oh, I zoomed too far.
You zoomed too far. Go onto Venice and zoom in.
Whee!
Yeah. Okay. You're going to want to go left.
Up there?
All the way left. Yeah, up there where the little doctor is.
Can I like pin something?
Yeah, press X. Okay. We're going to go there. And then we're going to run all the way across the other side of Venice.
Oh, how do I know where my pin? Oh, there it is. I see.
It's got to be the local cryptid by now. There's that text post about how Link is functionally a cryptid, and some old lady in Hyrule sees this man run into town, break a bunch of pots, and jump off a cliff, and she's like, "Our hero's back!" That's a great text post. Let's see.
I like how they let you keep looting him even if he falls off the building.
Yeah, that's good old game design for you, where he ragdolls about 3 seconds after he finishes the death animation. What about Venice? I don't know. Ask me questions about Venice. I ran out of things to talk about. How long does it take to complete a video? It usually takes, depending on the length of the video, it can take anywhere from like a straight week of work to a week and a half or 2 weeks of work. Like the Byzantines wasn't too terrible because I already knew a lot going in, so I didn't have to worry about doing so much front-end work. Also, I had Indigo helping me edit. Indigo is new editor on the channel for my history videos. She's great. She'll pop into stream eventually at some point. We'll figure it out.
The problem
but like,
is my schedule and Indigo's schedules unfortunately don't line up super well.
Yeah.
So
it happens. Be like that. Like India, for instance, was tough because I was starting completely blind, as I'm sure the quality of that video would let you know. And that's like I really have to read and read and reread to make sure that I have everything right, or at least as right as I can get it in a reasonable amount of time before I go and do everything else. So.
Oh no.
Ooh, it's okay.
It's a letter.
Water is fine. Water doesn't cause you any damage. Okay, let's get some questions here. Born Again Geek, if you could solve any historical question mystery, what would it be? Also, if Red isn't there, does that mean you're keeping all this money? No, we split it 50-50. We're a democracy.
See,
over
I thought
here.
you were talking about like the Assassin's Creed.
The Assassin's Creed money. No,
It's like,
no.
yes.
This all gets
Blue's
split.
keeping all of the florins, guys.
Yeah. All
Don't tell Red
209,795
that Blue's
about it.
keeping the florins.
Yeah. If I could solve any historical question or mystery, what would it be? Where is Cleopatra buried? I want to see that tomb. I mean, like, we should leave it alone, but like, oh my god, it'd be so cool.
Well, yeah, leave the tomb alone. You just
like,
want to see where it is.
If anyone will make a bomb-ass tomb, it's Cleopatra, guys. Like, come on. So, I would love to... Oh my god. His legs got caught on the rope, and he just fell face first into the concrete.
I just saw his body from
Oh my god, that was bad.
Oh no!
That was bad.
Oh, no.
I'd love to see where Cleopatra and Mark Antony's tomb was. I would love to...
Wait, is my pin not pinned anymore?
No.
Hold on, where am I? Oh, I'm almost
You're close. You're close. You're getting there.
Apparently, if you die, they don't think you need to know where you were going.
Other historical mysteries. Let's see. I'm trying to think of things that we know enough to know we don't know about, but because there's a lot of stuff where it's like, look, we lost a history book on such and stuff, and we don't even know what we're missing, which is the worst part sometimes.
The greatest mystery is what we don't know about history.
Yeah. So I would love to.
What is this?
It's a big pile of sticks. Might be a well. It might be a closed off well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Drop. Thank you. Loot the chest.
Oh, this is killing me.
It's okay.
Historical mysteries.
We'll come back to it. Blue.
I'm gonna switch your question slightly. The mystery of what did all those old Byzantine mosaics look like, so I can see them all before they got destroyed.
Yeah.
Apollyon Orange says, I'm a huge esotericism nerd and I wonder if you'll ever do some stuff on esoteric people. Also love this channel, makes me want to read more. Maybe, maybe not. We try not to focus too much on specific characters in history, except for, the history makers. I don't like the great man school of history, like, Napoleon, Caesar, yada, yada, yada. Like, I did a video on Caesar. I did 3 videos on Augustus, but I tried to frame that more of looking at the system that these characters interacted with, as opposed to, like, diligently following the biography of every single moment in these characters' lives. So not so much of a characters thing. Extra history is a great place to go if you want to see some of that stuff. As far as characters go, I like to do the history makers because I think looking at the people who wrote the history is, in a sense, more helpful than looking at just these big characters and kind of slavishly following the lives of these famous people who've already been done to death elsewhere.
Into the unknown.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to pull up your map, go all the way to the bottom right.
I'm going to remove this marker.
Yes. Bottom right, bottom right, bottom right. And go to that boat over there. Press X. Now run across as fast as you can without dying.
Kiddo. I'm gonna die.
Okay, that's fine, but like try, you know? See if you can weave the rooftops. Just try, okay? Oh man.
Gravity's been science, the biggest enemy so far.
My problem's not the roof, it's the gravity that takes me off the roof.
Zeraxis, you faced Teraxis. Hey guys, love the channel. Glad to catch some of these streams for once. Question for Blue: have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance and/or have any interest in the setting? Keep up the good work. I have not played Kingdom Come Deliverance. I don't have much of a patience for those kinds of games. Assassin's Creed are the few games where I'm willing to devote a lot of time to one game, but I like shorter games, and I don't really like the fully invested historical-ish RPG kind of thing. It's just not for me. Like, I can't play Skyrim. I just don't have the patience for it. I know The Witcher is a masterpiece. I don't have the patience to play it.
Oh, I want to play it.
Maybe eventually. It's like, oh my god, it's so much.
I'll play it and you can talk about the history.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want the chest.
But nothing personally for me in Kingdom Come Deliverance, unfortunately.
Yo, that gave me 999 florins.
Venice is stacked, yo. These people are rich as fuck.
I know you said to go fast, but I'm not doing that.
Thoughts on the Assassin's Creed movie? The parts that are in Spain are the only slightly good parts of that movie. And even still, the protagonists don't even talk. It's garbage. Michael Fassbender, years later, was like, yeah, I think that having 3 separate introductions for that movie of young Callum, old Callum, and then Spain was a bad filmmaking choice. He was right. That was a bad filmmaking choice. So I didn't really like the Assassin's Creed movie. I think that Assassin's Creed Lineage with the story of Giovanni is really cool because it's like
the story of a girl.
It's just a it's a half hour. It's easy. It's fun.
Didn't die.
It's cool. I enjoy Assassin's Creed Lineage a
die.
lot. I think it's nice. Adds to the lore. Hey, Red and Blue from Dave's Not Here, Man.
Red's not here, man.
Yeah. Have you guys ever thought of doing the 7 Wonders of the Ancient World? Perhaps. Perhaps could be a fun one-off video. I try to loop architecture into other videos that I do instead of making
why did they
videos
zoom in on his face?
It's because the little pagoda building thingy was in the way, so the camera kind of clipped weird. Yeah,
Why?
that was not pleasant. Probably
Probably
not the 7 Wonders on their own, but maybe something about architecture, perhaps.
You know, I feel like I'd probably die less if I stopped climbing things, but where's the fun in that? I'm a ranger at heart, and I must do what I love.
Admiral Ark says, what's the absolute weirdest fact/story about Venice that you haven't shared yet? There's one time in like the 1100s where this one guy, Tiepolo, and his family tried to throw a coup by like running into the street and trying to rile up the population of Venice, but no one wanted to throw a coup because they were perfectly happy with the way the government was functioning, so no one joined him, and he just kind of ran around the city in the middle of a rainy night and then got killed by the guards. It was an embarrassing failure. Makes for a hilarious story. Might talk about that at one point on a fun little history facts video, but I already talk enough about the Mediterranean, so fuck, I don't know, sue me. Let's see. Huge mood. Credit River down the whole world, okay. Let's see. Forgot to print the flyers, says Coho and Moho, or Coho and Mojo. It's just like the tragedy of Korg. Didn't print enough flyers. Oh my gosh. Taika Waititi is apparently a national hero in New Zealand, and I can totally see why. At one point I was talking with Hello Future Me about just like New Zealand stuff, and he's like, yeah, like, Taika Waititi is our guy. Like, he is the champion of our people. I'm like, hell yeah. He is a national treasure. Not even my nation.
There's a ladder right there, and I refuse
There's a ladder.
to use it.
Ladders are for wimps.
Ladders are for chums.
There's only so much that I can really say about Venice. A lot of it's just in the presentation itself. Like, you see all these, you see all these beautiful little touches of kind of gothic, ornate designs. Venice definitely had a leg up because being the only state to trade with any Muslim power, they had a lot of access to, you know, Eastern architectural styles and Moorish designs.
Climb
and
the
stuff
ladder,
like that.
Ezio.
So, Ezio has a mind of its own.
Cyan, ladder.
Taika Waititi was in the Green Lantern movie for some reason, says Red. What?
Yeah.
What? How?
He was Ryan Reynolds' roommate, I think.
Holy shit!
Oh my god, they were roommates.
They were roommates. That's my favorite divine. Wow.
Yeah, there was a Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi are in an upcoming movie called Free Guy.
Oh yeah, Free Guy, where Ryan Reynolds plays an NPC.
Yeah. And there was like a little promo thing where he and Taika Waititi were like in a little like they're just having an interview together, and they're like, yeah, I'm glad that this is like the first movie we're ever going to be starring. And like the two other celebrities that were there beside him was like, weren't you guys in Green Lantern? And it was like,
Nope.
I don't.
No idea what you're talking about.
The best part of Deadpool 2 is when Ryan Reynolds goes back when Deadpool goes back and kills Ryan Reynolds to stop him from doing the Green Lantern movie.
Oh yeah, man, you're gonna make it big.
A kitty cat says, say a history fact that is true but sounds fake. Cleopatra lived closer to the moon landing than she did to the building of the pyramids. Is true. Sounds fake. That's the best one I have off the top of my head.
Oh, there's one about Tiffany being a medieval name.
Yeah, Tiffany is a fully accurate medieval name. It was a derivative of Theophania, which means like beloved of God or something like that. But Tiffany, totally accurate to medieval period, but sounds so modern and out of place that no one will dare touch it. So you get like Tiffania and stuff because people are too much of cowards to do it authentically.
Give us Tiffany, cowards!
Give us Tiffany, you cowards.
It sounds like something Terry Pratchett would have done, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Alex Elizalde says, Venice is tiny, this was made by Tenochtitlan gang. That is good.
I made it to your spot.
You made it without dying. You did it.
No, I died.
Oh, you
like,
did?
Immediately into it,
Oh,
remember?
fuck, yeah, no, that's right. Yeah,
I made it
yeah,
without
yeah.
dying twice, but that's only because you missed me, like, healing.
Yeah, Red says, read Discworld. Discworld has a Tiffany. There we
Thank
go.
you, Discworld, for
Yeah.
giving us the Tiffany. Do, 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 do. Beep, 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 beep. Hey, look, it's Gaskier.
Dun dun dun.
Hey, yo, my
Toss
boy.
a coin to your witch. Okay. I think that's all. Okay. Hey, Blue. As an archaeology/anthropology student, wonder if you've considered doing a video on Göbekli Tepe at all. I have not. I vaguely know what you're talking about, but I can't really say anything specific about it.
I'm on a boat.
It's one of the oldest architectural sites in Anatolia, right? Am I
sail?
remembering that right? No, save
Why
that for AC3. That's an AC3 thing. This post was made by Connor
I like
Kenway
boats.
gang.
I am a boat person.
Yeah, I haven't
Into
considered
the
doing a video on something that specific. Uh-oh.
Into the unknown.
Actually, this is fun. Go past it, you'll die.
Into the unknown.
Oh, wow, it drains you. Okay, I was like, it drains your health so slow, then it just kills you. Let's see. Yes, someone says, would you guys ever consider doing D&D streams? That's extremely complicated to set up, and I do not have that kind of time commitment. Born Again Geek says, which historical period do you think is the most misunderstood or misrepresented by popular culture? Historical period
Where
that
did
is
they
most
put me?
misunderstood or most misrepresented. Right where you
What's
were.
this?
Most misrepresented in popular culture. I think
Oh, I can
that...
travel.
Yeah, you can go wherever you want.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
What?
I don't think you guys want us to go to Florence. We already did that one.
We already did that one. That was the previous screen. Red says, but not too far or you'll be drowned. Misunderstood historical periods. I think anything that Cleopatra did qualifies as misunderstood. I also think that the Ottoman Empire can get pretty misunderstood by Western audiences. I try to clear up some of that in my video.
What is that glowing moon thing?
That is a feather, I think. I think we might be getting ready to... Oh, don't do that. That's part of the weird scan the glyphs to do secret puzzles. It's not... Don't do it. Don't do it. No, please don't. Please, fuck. Okay. Okay. Descendants. We're doing this.
We're doing this.
Press X. Now look at the table. There's an apple of Eden on it. Look at the table. Left, 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 down, right, 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 up, up, left, 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 left. There you go. Press X.
It's the little sphere thing.
Okay. We're in this now. Press X. Houdini's hiding the apple of Eden right there.
Aha!
Yeah. Just speed through this. This is when Assassin's Creed had a really cool modern day plot line, and then look what happened. Gandhi's got it right on his little pouch there, on the left, left, left.
Did you memorize these?
I did this in my playthrough, like a week and a half ago.
Ah.
So.
Why did they start with 3 and then do 1 and 2?
Good question.
Oh, I unlocked a file.
That's it.
No one cares.
Yeah, exactly. And then the writers of Assassin's Creed were like, what if this plotline was the main point of the game? And then everyone's like, no! Okay.
Oh no.
Cleopatra gets a bad rap. I think I covered her story pretty well in my video on her.
It's almost
okay.
like people are like, females being competent can't have that in history.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing happens with Theodora
So what's
as well.
the big sparkly one? Like
Big sparkly one?
There's the 2 blinky ones, and then there's the one behind the blinky one.
On the map?
Yeah.
That is the only place in Venice where you can go to another city without having to pay. That's the boat that takes you to Forlì. The other 2 are Templar lairs.
I thought we didn't like Forlì.
We don't like Forlì. Forlì is the one bad city in Assassin's Creed 2. It's a garbage tier town that they shouldn't have included. Or at least they should have done it better. I'm not going to read that. Okay, let's see. Have you thought about doing a video on the development of medicine in history? I don't really know a lot about medicine to be able to say that. I could research it, but I don't know if Oh my god! You decked that dude. You fully killed that man.
I have a book if you need to borrow it.
Okay, perhaps.
Yeah. I like to read books on like the history of science and medicine. It's a cool topic. Unfortunately, because a lot of the stuff that was like really big innovations didn't happen in like Greece or Rome. Unfortunately, we don't have as much written record as we'd like. It's mostly like you hear stories of someone traveling and being like, oh, they have procedures here where they do like this, that, and the other thing. And that's like all we know is we're like, oh, this was happening like in Africa at the time. Like they had these really cool like beetles that they were able to use as stitches, which is awesome, but we only have like one person saying that they saw it. Like very little account about like the actual history behind it.
And then they enslaved the entire tribe of people, and then that's the end of that. Such as colonialism. But I think that's all that I have to say about Venice for now. I would recommend watching the Venice video if you haven't seen it already. Picking up John Julius Norwich's book on the history of Venice, because that's a good one. But yeah, Cyan, any last thoughts before we close out here for
yes,
today?
one, but it does require me to get to the top of the bill.
Okay, cool. Flower Prince J says, "Hey Purple, love you both, you guys. Red, anyway, can convince you to cover Count of Monte Cristo. Give it a bit. Blue." Referring to us as purple.
Red and blue is purple.
Blue, my 87-year-old grandma watched your Venice videos with me and she loved them. She's from Venice herself. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad she enjoyed them. It's always so fun when I get comments of like, yeah, like I or my family is from here and we loved your video on this. I'm like, yeah, it's great. Makes me feel all special. Zeraxis says, so as neat as time travel would be, I've heard that carrying modern diseases back would be, well, bad. What are your thoughts on that, Blue/Cyan? Time travel would go poorly for anyone.
Not only would you bring modern diseases back to them be bad, the diseases that they have would be bad for you.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, we have like these amazing immune systems that can fight off so many more diseases. We just have different diseases. So like, if you were to go back in there, you would run into the same problem of you don't have antibodies to the diseases that they have.
Yeah.
Therefore,
like,
it would be bad for everyone involved.
Like, hope you can deal with casual cholera just happening in the middle of the week.
Because there were diseases we were able to get rid of through vaccines, but we don't really vaccinate against them anymore because we don't need to.
Because why would measles ever come back?
That's not what I was...
Oh, okay. No, I was taking that in a different direction. I was just getting angry about people who don't do vaccines. Vaccinate your goddamn kids.
Please vaccinate your children. If you don't understand vaccines, that's okay. Your local medical professional would be happy to explain them to you.
That's one of my favorite memes that I've done in a Oh no!
And that's me. That was intentional.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my goal is to climb to the highest thing and then yeet myself
And
off
yeet the
one
fuck
last
off.
time.
Alright, I think that's going to be it from us, gang. Thank you so much for watching. It was great for you all to tune in. Hope you had fun. This stream's going to be archived for later so you can watch it again. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Next time we will be doing a live stream with the history of Rome. We will see you then. Bye-bye.